Hello, my dear friends. I hope you are still fine. Thank you for watching me. Um, we continue our art coffee talks. Today we will speak about blue, yellow, and green colors. In my last video in French, I was speaking about white, black, and red colors, the most used colors in antique time. So today we will continue. And we will start with blue color. Since 1890, this color was one of the most important in Occident, but before this time, it wasn't so popular because, as I said, the most used in antique time were white, black, and red colors, except Pharaonic Egypt, where blue color was the color of happiness, like this symbol very important. Egyptian pigment was very difficult to produce, but it's oldest pigment created by humans and used almost 2000 years before our era. It's really a long time. For a long time, the Roman considers blue as the color of the barbarians. He was rarely worn, mostly by slaves, but from the 12th century, the blue color changed its meaning and it becomes religious and spiritual colors because the God of Christians becomes a God of light, and the light turns into blue because before this time in the West the sky was represented in white, black, red, and gold colors. The color blue also represents the Virgin who lives in the sky. So from the 12th century, the Virgin is represented wearing a blue coat or a blue dress, like on this painting, Virgin of Annunciation. The blue color becomes also the color of the church. From that moment, this color becomes very popular. For example, the King of France decided to dress blue too. For example, Philippe Auguste or then later Saint Louis were the first kings to use this color for their clothes, like for example on this painting, the coronation of Philippe Auguste, we can see that the blue color is really present. It's the painting of Jean Fouquet. In 3 generations, blue has become fashionable and favorite color of Europeans in the 18th century. Then its meaning were changed a little bit because this color becomes also the color of melancholy. For example, I'll show you this painting. This is different nuances of blue color, the monk by the sea. Then we can see the blue color is very used for clothes. For example, the inventions of jeans in 1815 San Francisco by Levi-Strauss. Then it becomes the wise color. For example, different international organizations use the color. The UN, UNESCO, the Council of Europe, the European Union also. Then we can see that the blue color transforms into the representation of super white color, whiter than white. Like for example on this photography, then we can see the blue as something whiter than white color. Okay, now we'll speak about yellow color. As for yellow color, in Asia, in South America, yellow has always been valued. In China, for example, it is the color reserved for the emperor, and it still occupies an important place in Chinese daily life, associated with power, wealth, and wisdom. For example, on this painting, we can see that the yellow is very used. This is the painting of Simone Martini, Annunciation, in 1333. And gold also has taken all the positive symbols. We can see the difference that the color gold have a lot of positive meanings, and the color yellow has less positive but more negative meanings. We will speak about later. In the West, this color is not very appreciated, yellow color. It is the last between 6 basic colors: blue, green, red, white, black, and then yellow. In the Middle Ages, the color gold represent the sun, light, warmth, life, energy, joy, power. For example, I'll show you the painting which represents the Emperor Chu Yanshan, founder of the Ming Dynasty. We can see that in Asia. This is the color which represents just something optimists meanings. In ancient China, yellow is also the color of earth, a central element and source of wealth. It was believed also that the emperor was the son of heaven who married the earth. But yellow, being paler than gold color, represents also autumn, decline, and illness, and then transform into the color of betrayal, deception, and lies. In the Middle Age, yellow color was also the color of madness. I'll show you this bizarre picture. The madman puts the tail of an animal in his mouth, a detail from an illuminated page of the historical Bible from the 1411. The yellow color is also reserved for Judas. From the 12th century, he is shown wearing a yellow dress. In reality, there is no documentary evidence which show that the color of Judas' dress, but from the Middle Ages, he was represented in this yellow clothes. For example, do you remember the scene from the Last Supper from stained glasses from the Sainte-Chapelle? We could see that Judas wearing the yellow clothes. The meaning of the color yellow did not change in the Renaissance period. In the 17th century, Dutch painters used a lot a new yellow pigment which came from Naples, but which was very dangerous because these painters would like to represent some light. The most known painters who used this pigment were Vermeer and Hoche. For example, in this painting, which is called The Mother, 1661-1663. The yellow color finds a new life around 1850 and 1880 with Impressionist art, of course, because the artists leave their studios to paint outside. And for example, we can see this painting of Van Gogh, which has a lot of yellow color, beautiful, like the representation of the sun, of something hot and warm. Since the 20th century, yellow has become vulgar. Jewelers, for example, knows that the majority of people prefer white gold and silver and not yellow gold. The color of life and energy is more orange than yellow because, for example, the symbol of energy, it could be orange juice, but it's never yellow lemon juice, for example. But children continues to represent sun or light with yellow color. In the Middle Ages, the sun was represented with red or white color sometimes. Okay, now we will speak about green color. Okay, the green color wasn't very difficult to produce because it was the nature color. We could use some leaves, roots, flowers, but this color was difficult to stabilize because the color becomes paler and paler with light. The chemically produced green color was a real poison. The green color is the color of instability, the color of chance, games, fate, luck. In the 16th century, for example, in gambling houses, cards were thrown on a green carpet, like in this painting of Edvard Munch in 1891. It was the color of luck, but also of bad luck, emerging life and unfaithful love, immaturity and vigor. The monsters also are represented in green because they are between two worlds, the terrestrial world and the beyond, like demons, dragons, snakes. This is, for example, the detail from Notre Dame stained glasses. We can see this monster which represented the demon. And you remember from my other videos, the stained glasses from the Saint-Tropez and Apocalypse, we could see a lot of green colors because often it was the representation of something bad, illnesses or demon dragons. The actors do not wear a green color because Molière died dressed in green. In order to produce green color we started to mix other blue and yellow colors, but only from the 18th century. Many artists before believed that this color is not pure, like Mondrian, for example, who did not use the green color to favor the primary colors. Later, around 1800, green became the opposite of red, which symbolizes the forbidden, for example, for crossroads. Today, green is the color of health, nature, freedom, but it is recent. Green is the color of spring, for example, like we can see on this painting of René Magritte. Le spectacle de la nature, 1940. For our ancestors, nature wasn't green because it wasn't vegetation, it was four elements: fire, air, water, and earth. That's why in their understanding the green couldn't be the color of nature. It is perhaps primitive Islam which was the first to associate green and nature. In the time of Muhammad, green places were synonymous with paradise. It is also said that Prophet himself wore a green turban. This color has become sacred in Muslim worlds. That's why maybe it wasn't highlighted in the Christian world. I'll show you this painting. Yeah, the Prophet Muhammad and Moses, Persian miniature. 1336, 1337. In the 19th century, in France, pharmacies had the green cross because a lot of medicines were herbal medicines. Today, we can see some blue crosses because today the color of medicine, this is the color of science, blue color. Over time, green has become the color of ecology, of cleanliness. It is a symbol of cities, of villages, and of life. Et voilà. Thank you for watching me. I'll show you just the last image. These beautiful photos by Kasper Kowalski, Polish photographer, aerial photograph of green fields in spring 2011 in Poland. So this is the representation today of the nature, but it could change with the time. Thank you for watching me. I hope you are still fine, you are safe, you are home, and maybe see you soon outside. If you are not in Paris, come to Paris. I will show you all museums when it will be open. Thank you. I love you guys.